Hello everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Financial Fortress. This is basically a Financial Fortress rant. No music behind it, just a rant. Um, and today we're going to talk about Donald Trump. I read an article. Donald Trump's tax returns are going public after House committee partisan vote. Now, this article comes from a conservative, I guess, online news outlet called the Western Journal. And it says, after years of unmitigated obsession regarding Donald Trump's private tax returns, the Democrats of the House Ways and Means Committee has finally achieved their dastardly goal. Then it goes on to talk about how, they voted and the panel was split down the middle as far as the votes. It went down party lines. And I'm reading along the article, trying to see a little bit about what they're saying. Then it gets to the point where something very interesting comes up. And that's why I want to ask you this question. What should Donald Trump's tax returns tell you about you? Now, you guys know that for years I've been talking about how the wealthy operate, and we have the ability to operate like the wealthy if we study and pay attention to what they're doing. And I want you, once I read this part of the article that was pretty astounding to me, maybe not really astounding, but really thought-provoking for me, I want you to think about what this might mean to you. And if you don't understand it, I'll explain it a little bit. So here we go. During the prior administration, it was clear that the mandatory audit program was not a priority and was not provided with the resources needed to ensure compliance by the former president, the report states. In explaining that, the IRS is supposed to audit every president and vice president's tax returns, but they have not been doing that. So they explain here the reason that they haven't been doing it in this case, because Donald Trump has been under audit, believe it or not, based on this report, since around the time he got into office, and the audit is still not done. So do you realize how many years that's been? And here's the explanation. An internal IRS memo stated, with over 400 flow-through returns reported on the Form 1040, it is not possible to obtain the resources available to examine all potential issues. So let me break that down for you. What they're saying is, what the IRS is telling Congress is that Donald Trump's 1040 tax return, the regular old 40 tax return that most individual people file, has over 400 flow-through returns attached with it. And what that means is he has other entities, over 400 other entities that flow back into his personal tax return. Most of us that have businesses may have one, two, maybe even three. For example, if you have your individual tax return and you have an S corporation, that you're running your main business out of an S corporation, and your main business earned $100,000 in a year net, that net $100,000 is going to flow over onto your personal tax return. Can you imagine? This person, this man, has over 400 of these separate entities that flow back into his personal tax return. And as a former IRS agent, I happen to know that when you're auditing a tax return, a 1040, you have to look at all of the related companies. I audited a large restaurant once, and not only did I have to audit the restaurant, but I had to audit all of the shareholders, their personal tax returns, and any other entities, like little shoot-off entities that were related to this restaurant. Same with individuals. If I audited individuals that were very wealthy, I had to pick up all of their, at least look at all of their little businesses that flowed back into their personal tax return. And what I'm trying to get at here when I ask the question, what should Donald Trump's tax return tell you about you? I'm not concerned about the Congress and the fact that it took them all this time to look at his tax returns and all. They seem to be so happy that they're going to get a chance to look at them and expose him to the public. I really don't give a hot flash what they look like as far as whether he lied about his income or whatever he lied about. The main point that you should be getting when you hear somebody talking about the fact that they're about to expose Donald Trump's tax returns is the fact that this man has over 400 businesses or entities, blind trusts, and all these things that are tentacles that are attached to his personal tax return. So when you have a business and you have all that going on, the IRS will run from you because those little agents that they have, they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to audit you because it's just too much and it's over their heads. But as far as us being middle class people or even poor people, if we want to be wealthy, a job is not going to do it. One company is not going to do it. You have to strategize and get different streams of income. So this man has 400 plus potential multiple streams of income. I'm sure some of them are losses. I know how he operates. I know how to create a loss and I know he's doing it. But the point is, we need to get off our, what I said before, kabunkums, and get busy creating our wealth, creating our legacy. Because if you don't want to be the person that's living hand to mouth or paycheck to paycheck, and you don't want to be that person, then you've got to do something. There's some hard times coming. You all have seen it. You know what's going on overseas. You know what's going on here. And you're living in a dream world if you think it's going to get better on its own. You are in control of what you do about your life, your family's finances, and your family's legacy. So what I am suggesting that you do is pay attention to what Donald Trump is doing as far as having multiple streams of income with these other tentacles that he has here that they call there's flow through entities. They call it flow through returns. So they have, let's say for the sake of argument, out of the 400, he has 100 S corporations. And then he may have 200, of this, or blind trust and all these private interest foundations and all those. And I'm not trying to get you to do all of that, but get a few things on there that are going to generate income. So you won't have all your eggs in one basket, which is a W-2, which is slavery. So please pay attention to that. When you hear this coming out, because evidently the tax returns are going to be released next week or maybe even the week after that. But when they are, and you hear it in the lamestream media or wherever you hear it, don't necessarily think about what they're saying about, oh, he finally got his tax returns out and he lied about this and he lied about that, or this was true or that was true. Think about, wow, this man has all these entities. I don't care to look at it. I might browse through it if it pops up. I'm not going to go and look for it. I just know that I need to get busy, just like you need to get busy getting these multiple streams of income so that we can have these tentacles, these flow through returns flowing into our pockets instead of just the wealthy. Okay, so that's all I had today, and I want you to pay attention to that. And I will talk to you guys later. You have a great holiday.